Very pleasant good afternoon for those persons joining us. Welcome to the Afternoon Rush. My name is Randolph Critchlow. We want to thank you for joining us. Welcome all those persons joining us on the internet, joining us on YouTube and on Facebook. We want to say welcome. Thank you very much for joining. Remember to share the stream, like, share, take part in the comments, of course. Let everybody know what you are thinking this afternoon. Of course, we are going to be going through a number of topics this afternoon. To those persons joining us internationally, in the region, right here in Guyana, we want to say thank you very much for continuing to be a part of this wonderful journey that we're on. Though it may not seem wonderful, but we are fighting for our country, we're fighting for decency, we're fighting for transparency every single day. And there is some sort of gratification, I should say, that is at the end of the road. We will continue to fight to see the light at the end of the tunnel as we continue to do what we have to do for the country. It has been 344 days now since the March 2nd regional and general elections. As you can see, we have the ticker at the side of our screen this afternoon, so you know it is the 344 and still no election results. It is day 191 of this fraudulent, installed, illegal de facto PVP regime. And we continue, as we normally do, to keep their feet to the fire. Day 190 of the resistance. From day one, we were here telling you that we will continue to resist. We will resist them. We will ensure that they are held accountable and that they know that they are fraudulent, that they know that they're illegal, they're de facto, and they were installed there. And it would be just a matter of time before all of the wrongs are turned the right way. And we are back to some sort of civility and some sort of normalcy in this country we love. Again, thank you very, very much for joining this afternoon. Do remember to share the stream. Let every single body know that Apnu+Afc is on live. Yes, looking at my prompt today, but we want to say thanks to those persons who are joining. Again, I like to shout out my Caribbean friends because we know that the Guyanese are out there and they always look to see what is happening in their country. Antigua, Barbados, Trinidad, Grenada, even those folks over in Jamaica, we want to say thank you very much for being a part of what we're doing here. We're going to, of course, be launching our merchandise shop pretty soon. Hopefully, we'll be having that website up in the new month so we can offer you the valued people who are looking at us and supporting us another avenue that you can use to support the Apnu+Afc, support the shows, support us bringing these credible and valid information to you on a daily basis. So we're going to be launching our merchandise shop very, very soon. You can get those merch, whether it be a mug, whether it be a t-shirt, whether it be products. We are going to be bringing them to you in that merch shop very, very, very soon. The Afternoon Rush is going to have a special line, of course, of items that you can buy and support the show. Right, we are going to get straight into it today. I want to talk to you about a few things very quickly. I know we have to, we started late, and let me apologize for that. So we only have a half an hour show today. Still enough time to get in all the information that we want to get in, but we are going to be talking about a few things. We are going to be chatting again in our third day. We're going to be talking to a representative from the mining town of Linden. We are going to be talking with the regional chair, and we are going to be discussing in a little bit some of the issues happening there at the Guyana Tourism Authority, the GTA, and we are also going to be talking about what is happening up in Mabaruma. Recently, we saw reports of stalls being demolished. Again, we are in a pandemic. We are continuing to go through this pandemic, and the PVP seems not to care. They are continuing with this campaign of, taking away bread from people. So we're going to be talking about that. We're going to be unpacking some of the issues happening over there at the GTA, the Guyana Tourism Association, and this approval for restaurants and bars during the COVID season. And it's very, very interesting what is happening there. But before that, we are going to go straight into conversation with Mr. Darren Adams, who is the regional chair for RDC number 10. And he's going to give us some updates on what has been happening. And we're going to have an interesting, I want to ask him a few questions. I saw some comments on social media and other things swirling about whether or not the APNU AFC would have served the people of Linden well, and what the administration would have done for the people of Region 10. So we're going to get into that. Mr. Adams, welcome.
Hey, good afternoon, and thank you for having me again, Mr. Crutcher.
Yes, of course. We're always happy. It is hot here in Tonga, as you can realize. I'm sweating out here. Uh, but Mr. Adams, I want to jump right into it. There's some who claim that the APNU AFC has not done anything significant for the people of Linden. You reject that outrightly. Why is this so?
Yeah, because we're now, very soon into the APNU's AFC tenure and led by His Excellency President David Granger, we were able to highlight what his mandate, what his vision was. And one, I believe I can recall, was one where I termed it as him, this vision being one which is to bring our people together and strengthen them from within their communities. And he did that by creating jobs, job creation, through education, through improving the health sector, the security sector, agriculture. And so we quickly understand that his vision was to strengthen and consolidate, bring our people together from the community level. Through his leadership today, and young people, today we are better able to articulate ourselves. We are able to see clearly what it is that many young people, what is it that we want, especially those people at the grassroots level. And so on yesterday, after listening to the back and forth over the years and after the elections, many people questioning what it is that the APNU AFC would have done across Region 10, I launched a program on Facebook, if you want to call it that. You asked me what the APNU did or what President David Granger did. And I highlighted where funds were made available. He constructed new police stations at Mackenzie and at Wismar. And that was done under the Citizen Security Strengthening Program, where 800 officers were trained, police stations were constructed. We upgraded the forensic lab at Georgetown, and we put it into operation. And there are many other programs that that I would have tagged. The jobs that were created under the patient care assistant program in the health sector, where a lot of young people were trained and they received employment under that program. We also touched on the Lycius Hall, the Linden Concert Hall and School. For the first time in over 20 years, we saw funds being placed there, and that's where Region 10, we're the talent basket for the country. So young people are able to go do drama, do art, sing, learn an instrument. President Granger and the APNU AFC would have refurbished that facility for the first time in over 20, 30 years. Of course, many of our senior citizens and young people, some of them suffer from dialysis, kidney failure. I would have mentioned this in the last program, and so they have to do dialysis. And as you know, dialysis is a procedure, Randolph, that remove waste products and excess fluids from the body. For the first time, we would have seen Linden at the Mackenzie Hospital, a dialysis center being set up. Of course, after the elections, we are still waiting for the administration of the day to put it into operation. We don't know what's causing the delay, and we hope that very soon, because we have 40 plus patients who we know are dying to benefit from this service. Under the APNU, we would have seen house lots for the first time going to athletes. Shantoba Bright, Daniel Williams, Deshauna Skeet here in Region 10. Um, and we were proud, and we still are, of our athletes, because we were able to provide house lots for those athletes here in Region 10. We would have seen under the Sustainable Livelihood and Entrepreneur Development, block making factories, communities such as Wizrock, Spikeland, Kamaka, benefiting from block making factories, creating employment for them, pig rearing, chicken rearing, many of them salons were opened up for young professionals and young people who wanted to get involved in business. We saw, you asked me what did the APNU and what did President David Granger deliver to the people of Region 10. We saw houses being constructed at Amelia's Ward to the benefit of nurses, teachers. So this whole on a ballad that you see happening now, where persons are being promised 1,000 houses. This is nothing new for the people of Region 10. We saw 2 water ambulances being delivered in the health sector to the people in the Demerara River at Malali, and to the people in the Berbice River at Wiruni for the first time. And it's at the midway point. We're making representation for it to be stationed there, so that persons can, whether they want to go to New Amsterdam or whether they want to come to Kokwani, they can make that choice. But for the first time, water ambulances were delivered here. We saw the ICT sector expanding under the APNU, AFC, and President David Granger. For the first time, I went into the Berbice River and had access to WhatsApp. I saw Bishop One Edgel is now using WhatsApp when he's in the Berbice River. You must ask him whenever you see him how that came about, because we were able to build these towers and ICT hubs at Sand Hills, at Wiruni, at Kimbia, at Gate Roy, at Develt, at Rockstone. All of these communities today have internet access. For the first time, you can stay connected, because he was about empowering communities and strengthening them from the community level. We saw for the first time under the tenureship, under the coalition 5-year term, magistrate court being constructed at Wisma and at Kokwani. Single parents who, over the past 23 years of the PPP rule, had to go all the way to West Demerara to uplift, what you call it, the child support fees, bail refunds. You have to go all the way to West Demerara.
I wanted to ask about that, since you're on that, and I want to just ask about whether or not the passport services were made available up in Linden also.
Yes, for the first time, we are able to access passport services here, renewing and for the first time, applicants who are applying for the first time. We have the passport office constructed at Wiruni. We saw a health center at Retrieve. Sorry, we saw a health center, 22 million state-of-the-art health center constructed at Wiruni in the Berbice River for our Amerindian brothers and sisters. And so we saw also the Linden Music Corps band for young people who wanted to learn an instrument being used. You know, you would normally see it when we're doing our parades and so on, like how Mashramani is coming up on Republic Day. You will see the band playing. Young people learned and were able to learn an instrument. We saw over 300 senior teachers benefiting from duty-free concession between 2016 and 2018 under the coalition and President David Granger. Region 10, as I said, is the talent basket. We produce the best athletes: Shantoba Bright, Daniel Williams, Compton Caesar, and we never benefited from a synthetic track here in the region. In fact, they took that synthetic track to Region 3. For the first time, we would have seen a synthetic track constructed under the APNU AFC for the people here in Region 10. We saw the upgrading of facilities, the basketball courts across the region in Kokwani.
Let me just interject here, Regional Chair, because I know there's been a bit of controversy as it relates to sport, and persons are saying that the sporting facilities were left unattended. But I know, as you said, the synthetic track was started, and a number of other things were done. So it seems as if there's some convenient nitpicking here when it comes to sporting facilities, and there's a push now to go and do over Mackenzie Sports Club Ground and brand yourself as the hero.
Well, let me say this: there's nothing that the PPP can do to erase the legacy that President Granger and the APNU AFC would have left. That is, there's nothing that they can do. Now, Mackenzie Sports Club is a private facility, members club. It was handed over to the community. It is managed by a committee. Sorry, I should say that. And so the government now came into Region 10 without engaging the office of the regional chairman, without engaging the office of the mayor, which I thought to be disrespectful. And they want to make it seem as though this is a facility that is being funded by the PPP administration. But this is a grant that we are receiving from the People's Republic of China. And so we believe that because the people of Region 10 are the biggest patrons, when there's an event there, it's the people of Region 10 who form part of they contribute the most. And so we believe that if you're going to build a facility and you want to identify there, I don't think it's the best area. And you must consult with them. I don't know why it is being done in secrecy. You have Kashif Mohammed calling the people of Linden visionless, that they're nothing good. And so we have a problem with that, and we demand a public apology from it. But if the People's Republic of China wants to build a facility, why not utilize a location in Amelia's ward? We have the biggest housing scheme in the country, in the Caribbean possibly. Why not consult and let's put a facility down at Amelia's ward and open up and have room for expansion and maybe upgrade that facility that is a members club at sports club and utilize the money there to rehabilitate it so that Region 10 will end up having 3 facilities. One, you can play football, one, you can play cricket, and the synthetic track, of course, that we would have received. But no, they do not want to consult. And so they want to do it in isolation. We want to ensure that when it's completed, that when people come to Guyana to host some event, they must choose our facility over others. And that is why we're saying to them, consult with the people of Region 10. But let me move on. We would have seen...
Before you move on, I wanted to get your thoughts on this. Yesterday we had MP Amanza Walton Desir on the program, a Linden, of course, by birth, and she was apoplectic. She was very angry at the fact that there was no consultation, and the Attorney General could go on the East Coast and say, people want to come into your community, they must consult with you and do anything. So why is that courtesy not extended to the leadership and the people of Linden?
Because they have no regards. They have no respect for the people of Linden. We have a minister coming into the region with his sports fellow. I don't know what position he holds because we haven't seen a portfolio being announced for him, and saying that it got to go there and that is where it got to go and nobody can do nothing about it. And disrespecting the people of Linden, calling them visionless, saying that there are only 2 businesses that he see or recognize as being businesses that would have achieved and expanded over the years. And that is total nonsense, right? And the gentleman, as I would have said on that program, he shows no temperament to try to learn the things he doesn't know. Sorry for him. But we will hold them accountable. We will write the Chinese government, the embassy. We will write officially the president and let him know that we were not consulted. And the people of Linden and Region 10 will not allow a few people to sit in a back room and make decisions for them. We go about our business through consultations like we would have done when we built the synthetic track. We had consultation on whether it should be done at Bayrock, whether it should be done at Mackenzie Sports Club. Fine, the people decided. They said they wanted to be built at Bayrock. And so that is all we're saying. You must consult the people. right? But Randolph, you know the many other projects that were done under the AP and UAFC to
Yeah,
5B.
I know I interrupted you. Do continue, because you're about to tell us about some other things that were achieved under the APNU in just 5 short years.
Yeah, the 5B's program. You know what is sad is that I went to during a walkabout, I saw the David G bus parked up there, just for a minor part. And we had to tell them, you know what, let's get this bus up and running because it's gonna benefit the people here in region. And I'm happy now that they've decided to do work on it. We had consultation on the Linden Suzak Highway. We had already started to install lights on the David Patterson. So don't let them come and try to fool you to say that they are the initiators of these projects. These were all projects. We had consultation at the Linden Mayor and Town Council. I was a part of that, where we did the expert was showing us the test that they would have done, the pressure test, and how we were going to bring in all of the equipment to weigh vehicles that are going to be going on the highway, the Wismar Bridge, Mackenzie Bridge, all of that, and the road to Lethem formed the part of that consultation and the study. We had wells that were dug at Amelia's ward for the first time. For those of you living in Amelia's ward, you know the issues that we inherited in 2015, and we dug wells. We did it at Melissa as well. Today, the people of Amelia's ward are benefiting, and they're having potable water coming to their house. We built for the first time in the history of this country. You had water troughs, Randolph, being built at schools all across the region so that our children, and it had the purification system being built in. I remember water troughs being built at Mackenzie High School, at Watuka Day School, in the Berbice River for all the Amerindian communities, because we wanted to ensure that they had potable water coming. We opened up the lands at Millie's Hideout for agriculture purposes for the first time. Some people didn't even know that there was a road there. 300 plus million was invested by the coalition to open up those lands all the way to Kimbia, opening up the intermediate savannas and encouraging persons to get involved in agriculture because we know it holds the greatest potential to create jobs here in the region. Currently, we import over 70% of our food. We would have under the AP and UAFC and President David Granger, we saw schools being constructed at Bamia nursery schools and at Amelia's ward. We saw the health center, the Bamia Health Center, being opened at Amelia's ward. You know, we saw the current minister of health cutting the ribbon, but it started under the coalition, right? And so they will just show up and they will cut these ribbons. I mentioned the passport office earlier. That benefited us a great lot. We used to have to wake up 3 o'clock in the morning, travel down the Linden Suzak Highway, stand up outside of the passport office for them to let in either 25 or 50 persons at a time, right? And that took a toll on residents. We built a passport office in Retrieve that is benefiting our people today. People coming out from Kukwani don't have to, this burden of having to wait. At the Watuka House, the First Lady under the National Data Management Agency, we were able to train 120 young people in information and communication technology. And those young people went on to gain employment at the National Data Management Agency. Just Friday, they were all dismissed. 70,000 persons I think it's about 23 to 25. It's close to $19 million plus a year has now been taken away from the people of Linden. You calculate that by 12 months, it's close to $100 million. You would have just taken away from the people of Region 10. And this is most unfortunate, Randolph. We would have seen $116 million being invested under the Ministry of Public Telecommunications, as it was referred to at the time. And M&P Investment Incorporated would have signed a $160 million contract for the renovation of the call center here at Linden. 300 young people would have been employed in the ICT sector, right? We can only hope that they will continue these projects. We saw women's shelter being built under the U.S. Military Officers Program, the New Horizon team, where they partnered with the then government to build a women's shelter for battered and abused women at Richmond Hill. We know how people like Barry Ramsaram would have abused journalists and abused women in the past. And that center, we were cognizant of what they were doing to our women. And through the vision of His Excellency, we decided that, you know what? We have to protect our women. And so we built that facility at Richmond Hill. We built community centers at Blueberry Hill and at Amelia's Ward. And all of these community centers, especially the one at Amelia's Ward, has a basketball court in the compound for young people to go and play. Our old age pension, when our leader entered the parliament, senior citizens were receiving 7,500. Under the coalition, they are receiving 20,500. And they continue to benefit, from all of the other things. Subsidies for passport, those who are applying for driver's license, they didn't have to pay for those things anymore. And so we benefited. We are happy. For the first time, we would have seen a government delivering for the people of Region 10. We have seen them investing in small businesses. I just saw pictures of a young girl that benefit from the SLED program. Today she has her salon. She's employing people, right?
And what I want people to understand, all of what you are saying is you've been listening now for a few minutes, and these things were achieved within the matter of 5 years. And
you can't even say 5 years because our term was cut short. So these things, remember the first year we had to clean up the mess. We had these forensic audits. Then by the second term, the second year, third year, we had to push through all of these programs. Then we had Charan Das come and interrupt everything, with what he did. So really and truly, the coalition only had 4 years to deliver on all of these programs. And so people were frustrated, but come on, we're only humans. We did our best. We should have been more engaging with our PR system because a lot of people, they're not aware that all of these things were done. Many of them are inboxing me saying, wow, I'm happy that you did what you did. And we're encouraging all the other regions, regions 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9, to highlight those things that were done under the APNU and AFC and President David Grinch. I'm saddened by what happened to those students at the Bertram Collins College.
Yes.
Every day I pass them here in the RDC. They come to my office. We sit and chat. And for the first time, the staff has been sent home, and that program will not be continuing. Come on.
And as you say this, we're taking all of this in context. After 23 years of neglect, because make no bones about it, the PPP neglected Linden, coming once and afar to give some platitudinous things or make some big PR stunt with something like they did with the 1,000 house lots recently or that they're building. These platitudes coming once and afar during their 23 years, after which the APNUFC went on a developmental drive, not only infrastructure, but human and social development, all those programs that you were talking about geared to helping people, the average man and woman, the average boy, the average girl benefited from those programs. And you talk about the Bertram Collins College, the vice president, de facto vice president had his marathon press conference today, and he said he was going to close the thing all the time. He campaigned on that. He said it was a waste of money. This gives a clear idea of how these people plan on operating, and as we normally say, they have not changed. But again, all of this development and all these programs that were put in place comes against the backdrop of 23 years of neglect of the people in Linden.
You see, Randolph, and it's important for people to know, we had, and we learned as a council, because we would have quickly said to the RDC here, for example, that we want to continue that policy that says that we will only build bitumen road. You know that we invested, we brought in a bitumen plant. And we are still seeing persons attempting to give us substandard work. And we will continue to let them know that what we enjoyed under the coalition the past 5 years, those massive investments that were made in building communities and ensuring that communities had the infrastructure in place. These house lots that we are hoping, that they're claiming that they are going to be giving, we hope that those people who are in the system
Mhm.
will be given priority, because
Did they
we will be monitoring it,
did
because
they
we
announce how they are going to be giving these 1,000 lots up, or is it as arbitrary as the COVID grants?
well, we are going to be monitoring it, because we have young people in the system that were waiting in line. You know that we had started work on the Amelia's Ward area. So this is nothing new. We built houses for nurses and doctors. We put the infrastructure in place, water, roads, and everything. So when they come in, they got to come good, right?
Mhm. Mhm.
Right now, we're being told that persons who are giving land under the coalition, they're being told to not build. Well, I'm saying to the people of Regenton, if you are given a piece of land, begin construction. And do not take back in any receipts or anything. You go and start building on your land, because you received those lands through a legal process. You made down payments. I'm happy that over the life of the coalition, we had cricket gears and basketball gears and football being donated to young people all across the region. Right, young people were empowered in unity and diversity through the Ministry of Social Cohesion. Many benefited. Today, all of that has been dismantled. Um, Nurses from the Charles Rosa School of Nursing, the coalition would have provided funding for them to receive medical books. You know, some of the books that they use, that they study: fundamentals of nursing, principles of anatomy and physiology, medical surgical nursing. Those books are very expensive. The caring APNU AFC government provided resources that would have seen those facilities like the Charles Rosa School of Nursing being stacked with the books for them to complete their courses. That is what a caring government does. Not try to dismantle the patient care assistant program. Yesterday, there was an accident here in Linden, and the persons who the CEO fired, the ambulances, the persons who were experienced and would have known how to pick up a patient or somebody that was in an accident. If you see how they grabbed this man, and I said right there and then, this is why we were saying, empower them, improve, build upon what they know, not fire them and bring in fresh people into the system who don't know what they're doing. And so we will continue to monitor things and also highlight what has been done. You look at the Linden Technical Institute, Randolph, students who are technologically inclined for the first time are able to pursue studies at the Linden Technical Institute. In fact, under the TVEC program, we are building a dormitory, and that started under the coalition, for persons who want to come from the riverine communities. They can stay there, and they can go home on weekends and so on. For the first time, you had an APNU AFC government led by President David Granger, who was genuinely concerned about the young people, their social and their economic well-being. All of that has been shattered, right? I just saw a story where a young girl who was working at that ICT facility, she's pregnant, and she sent me a message. I don't even have a response for her.
Yeah.
What are you going
Uh,
to do?
Very sad. For those persons who are now joining the live, we are the regional chair of region number 10, Mr. Darren Adams, who's been going through all of the achievements the APNU AFC would have been able to put in place over a shortened term, let's say 3.5 to 4 years of actual development in Region 10 and around the country. Um, those things and the impact that they have on the lives of average Guyanese people, those things are now being stripped apart and stripped away by this fraudulent de facto government that we have in place. Mr. Adams, and I want to commend you on the initiative that you're pushing online for persons to say, show me what the APNUAFC would have done. You asked what the APNUAFC would have done. Let the people from the regions, and I would hope that those persons who are listening, if you have the evidence there, it's nothing strange. Um, Mr. Adams, of course, it is kind of sad that we have to do this at this point in time, and I will tell you why. Uh, this information should have been in the hands of every single Guyanese. It should have been at their fingertips.
Yeah.
It should have been emblazoned in their minds that the APNU AFC would have done X, Y, or Z. But that is in the past. But what we can do now is encourage persons to go and look at the facts. Look at the facts that you're encouraging persons online. Tell us a little more about that. And uh, outside of what we would have done, again, I ask everybody who come on the show this: what is in store for the people of Linden?
Well, first, let me encourage everyone to become the PR for your community. On your Facebook page, I saw Region 2 started doing it. Mr. Holder has been tagging and posting what we have achieved in Region 2. And we encourage all of the other regions to do it. Once Region 2 is finished, let's coordinate properly and ensure that that information is out there so that young people will see what is happening all across, what happened all across Guyana under the AP and UAFC. Going forward, we will continue to hold the administration accountable. We're concerned that Region 10 is being targeted. We believe that this is political. You heard me speak of the lack of diversity in the board of guardians that was set up, an 8-member team that was handpicked, political loyalists. And we're concerned because we do not believe that they will be fair and balanced in their assessment of single parents who go before them for assistance. And so we will continue to be in the fields. I will be visiting every community. I did my tour of the Berbice River. I did my tour around Mackenzie and Wisma. I went as far as Sharima Crossing and Arica. My next trip will be to the folks there at Rivers View in the Essequibo River area there. And we will continue to highlight and make recommendations and hope that they are executed. You know, recently, unlike when we were handing over boats and buses and bicycles, there was a boat that was handed over. And I'm surprised that the people in Kalkuni and Hururu called me to say that the boat is leaking. So now I have to go back in. You can't hand over a boat that is not properly done to the people. We don't accept those things in Region 10. We know about standard. We know about when we're commissioning something, that it's done, to high standard, good quality, right? We say what happened for 23 years. The Watuka House was left to rot. It had lost all structural integrity under David Granger and the APN UAFC. We have seen the Watuka House, which they wanted to sell to one of their friends, cronies. And we're going to be keeping an eye on the Watuka House. We're going to be keeping an eye on the airstrip because we're going to be monitoring all of those assets. They belong to the people of Region 10, and we're not going to allow this administration to sell it out to their friends. So I want to encourage people. We will, as a body here in Region 10, we will continue to make representation for our people to ensure that those things that we would have recommended through the consultation, or those things that flowed from the consultations that we would have had with the people here in the region, that they form part of the budget that we executed. Because at the end of it all, it's taxpayers' money that is being spent. And we are going to scrutinize it and make sure that it is done to the standard that we know, that we have grown to love, and that we have been encouraging under the tenureship that the APN UAFC had power.
I think that's a great note to end on, Regional Chair. I'm happy that you're there and you seem as if you have your fingers on the pulse of the issues. We are very, very happy that to see young, vibrant, enthusiastic, charismatic people leading the charge there in Linden. We always encourage you to come and share on the show. Thank you again for bringing the information, timely information to the people that are viewing right now.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, thank you. Those persons who have been with us, we were talking there with the regional chair of region number 10, Mr. Derek Adams, about a number of issues in Linden. More so, he took his time and he highlighted all, maybe not all, but a majority, a significant majority of the accomplishments, the achievements, the programs put in place by the APNU-AFC during their time in government. All of the social initiatives, all of the education programs, all of the health initiatives, all the infrastructure development that was had there in Linden in region number 10 to benefit the people of Linden. This, of course, is in the backdrop of persons being propagandists for the PPP, being propagandists of the PPP and spreading information as if the APNU AFC did nothing for region number 10. Of course, also it comes on the backdrop of also them going to Linden and making this big PR stunt about 1,000 house lots and 1,000 homes being built. Again, issues in Linden concerning sport and non-consultation of the people in leadership and the people in Linden there, all of those being discussed by the regional chair. They're doing a good job in region RDC number 10. Now we want to continue to thank those persons who are live with us, who are live. Right. Our Caribbean friends, we want to say thanks. Remember, you can share this stream, let your friends and family know that we are bringing you the credible and valid information here at APNU AFC. Again, I'm shouting out my Caribbean friends because we've had so much good support from you, all of you in Antigua and Barbados and Trinidad. We're seeing you on the live now. Those persons in the United States of America and Canada and everywhere that you're seeing and hearing us right now. Of course, we spreading all the love to those persons right here in Guyana who tuned in every day. You know, persons stop me on the streets and they say, you know what, keep up the good fight. And they give you information and they give you advice on how we should move forward with this. But we want to let you know that we'll continue. We are going to be here. We are going to be letting you know what are the issues. 191 days of this resistance, and we will continue to be here. Again, we'll have our March shop starting soon, so you can support the show and let us, give us your support in that way, so we continue to bring you the credible and valid information every single afternoon, weekday. All right, so I want to jump quickly into one more thing. Actually, today we have a special one more thing. It might be two more things, because I want to deal, before I go to one more thing, let me deal with I'm going to do everything in this segment actually. Operator, my apologies. You can put back up the one more thing. We are going to be dealing with one more thing right now. So this afternoon, I want to bring some things into perspective, and let us unpack a few things. Let's unpack what has played out over the last few days. Right? We have the COVID pandemic still ravaging the world and Guyana, of course. We saw a gazetted order saying that 40% restaurants and bars can be open, and at 40% capacity, indoor dining is now possible again. But there was a lot of things on the back end of that weren't regular, according to the people. The Guyana Tourism Authority was tasked the lead organization in certifying whether a restaurant or establishment or a bar can be open again. And we've heard so many complaints from restaurant owners, bar owners, that it's a lot of discrimination happening. Operator, you can make that picture a little smaller for me. You can bring me up big. I want to see myself better. Right. Good. But we have been getting complaints from restaurant owners, from bar owners, that the Guyana Tourism Authority was given the lead in certifying whether or not they can be open at this 40% capacity. Now, for persons who don't know, the Guyana Tourism Authority is, and when I, me just saying that you may not grasp fully the implications of having the Guyana Tourism Authority be the lead certifying body and whether or not restaurants and bars could be opened. The Guyana Tourism Authority has all interest in ensuring that those bars and restaurants are open. Outside of that general conflict of interest, the many complaints of discrimination, bias, and plain disregard for certain things have been coming in. These things have been coming in and we're listening to them. And I want to start to bring this matter to our attention because persons have been complaining. There are legal actions that will be put in motion against the Guyana Tourism Authority. Yes, we had the Ministry of Health, you have the Mayor and City Council, all of these people who are certified to say whether or not an establishment should be open, but we took that power and vested it in an organization that has no authority to say who should be open or who should be closed. The Tourism Authority, of course, is stacked with persons from the private sector, persons from the business community, who are now using this power vested in them to discriminate against organizations and restaurants and bars that they probably didn't like or their competition. It is a total mess. Like every other thing happening with this government, it is totally shambolic. It is reprehensible that the Ministry of Health would basically hand over this authority to an organization not authorized to say whether or not who is open, and they are putting seals, red seals of not approved to be open on places that they want to discriminate against. So we are watching at this. We're looking at it. We're continuing to bring this to you. More on this in a subsequent program. We'll let you know based on the investigations that we're doing what is being done, and we probably get somebody will reach out, of course, to people from the Guyana Tourism Authority to see if they can come and defend this allegation. Additionally, and one more thing today. Additionally, I listened to the Vice President earlier speaking at length about a number of things. But one thing that struck me, and it struck a chord, he said that he campaigned on closing the Bertram Collins College of Public Service and that it was a waste of money. And somehow the Apnu+Afc were using the college to campaign. I don't know how. I don't know how they were using the college that students were being housed at and being taught to campaign. And this is why he thought it should be closed. The champion, Doctor sat down today and said that he wanted to close the Bertram Collins College long now. Some frivolous reason. Note that his Minister of Public Service said that it needed to be closed because they were recruiting persons unfairly, and then they putting them in the public service over persons who would have been there, who weren't trained. This was her flimsy explanation for why the college was closed. His flimsy excuse today at his conference marathon was that the 600 million being used there could be used better. This is from the same man and the same government that spent $9 billion on sugar this year. This year alone, in 5 months, the PPP pumped $9 billion into the black hole toilet bowl that is sugar. I have no apologies for saying that because it's a waste of money. If Mr. Jagdeo wants to talk about a waste of money, he needs not to look further than the Gaisuko, than the waste of money that is Gaisuko. And don't sit and tell the media that $600 million to educate persons to become professional public servants is a waste of money when you are throwing $9 billion in the last 5 months down the toilet of Gaisuku. That is a waste of money. This is what this man had, the gumption, the temerity to sit and tell Guyanese people that he wanted to close it long now. This facility that was educating public servants, young people that wouldn't get a chance to elevate themselves otherwise from all the regions. This organization, maybe because they were wearing green and they were a product of the Granger administration, it meant that it offended Jagdeo so much that he campaigned on closing the Bertram Collins College of the Public Service and found every single reason to try and dismantle something that the APNU AFC would have put in place to benefit the people. And the flimsy reason today was that the 600 million could be used better. What about the 9 billion that you just waste in the last 5 months throwing it into sugar? That is the question that we have this afternoon. Guyanese need to be asking these questions. And I'm extremely disappointed that the reporters who sat in that press conference listened to Jagdeo spoke this gobbledygook about saving money and 600 million being a waste at the Bertram Collins College, and didn't even bother to ask him about the $9 billion that we are wasting in sugar. He's talking about profits and making profits. These are the people who are purported to be some economic whiz. The economic whiz. The whiz kids in economics. The Jagdeos of the world. And the Ashley Singhs of the world. The economic geniuses can't figure out profit and loss. They can't figure out that the balance sheet, if you're spending more than you're earning, then you're wasting time. They can't see that Gaisuko is a waste of time. They know, but they don't care, Guyanese. They have no care. They have no care for you. All they care about is what they can stuff in their pockets. And for more unpacking of this, the bowl of nonsense that Jagdeo spoke this afternoon, we're going to be looking at a little more in depth on tonight's program, In the Ring with Chair Duncan. Because we have to talk about the foolishness that he spouts. You realize that the PPP have been taking lashes over the last couple of months? One foolishness after the other. The reporter asked Jagdeo about our relations with China. Oh, we agree with the one China policy and it will stay that way. He's afraid to even delve into the question about how your administration could be so inept to have such a huge international blunder. Ducked the question today and went on to spout other foolishness. So they've been taking all these licks in the media for firing persons, for stumbling over their own feet in the international relations scene. So they had to go and find Jack Dio today to come and talk foolishness because the ministers can't defend themselves. They can't defend nonsense. So they had to go and find Uncle Jack Dio to come and sit down for 2 hours to spout foolishness. Waste of time. Tell people about saving money. The PPP should not, at any point in time, open their mouths and talk about profitability, feasibility, or saving money. They have lost the right to tell Guyanese anything about saving money. After pumping $9 billion, wasting $9 billion in 5 months in sugar. Think about what $9 billion could do. Think about it. The PPP has been stripped of their right to speak on profitability, feasibility, or saving money. They have been stripped. You can't be that barefaced and that hypocritical because Guyanese are not stupid. It's simple math. If you're not earning more than you're spending, you're losing, you're wasting the money. So just to be vindictive, you're closing a college that is contributing to the human development of this country, contributing to the professional development of our public service. And you're going to sit and tell the media in Guyana that we do it because the 600 million could be used to do other things. Like what? Waste it and put it in sugar? You have lost your right to speak on any economic issue. Leave the economics to Jordan. He was doing a very good job at it. At the end of the year, he was able to find money to give public servants an increase. That's what he was able to do. But you are so uncaring that you come and tell people, look, all at 25,000. No salary increase, you know. The first time in 5 years that the public servants didn't have a salary increase, an actual increase that they can look forward to better themselves. So this is where we are. When the PPP continues to take licks in the public for their foolishness, they have to call Uncle DJ to come and sit down on TV to talk for 2 hours and spout foolishness in their defense. No, because nothing can happen without Uncle DJ, no. Uncle DJ probably say, look, y'all doing share stupidness. I need to come and talk to the media and try and make things right. I'm going to tell people a couple of little stupidness today and hope that going to change something. Nothing will be changed. The facts are the facts. And we will unpack this tonight in the ring. Tonight in the ring, we will be going in depth into the mountain of foolishness that Jagdeo spouted today in an attempt to defend the defenseless. And that's one more thing for this afternoon. I want to say thank you. I think the operator is... Oh, we're also going to be dealing with this tonight. We see in Region 1, sorry, you see I got so caught up with my one more thing this afternoon. Uh, we see in Mabaruma, those are stalls all destroyed. Again, the PPP, the uncaring party that they are, they continue to take bread out of the mouths of Guyanese people. Look at it, it's right there. These are people trying to earn a living in COVID. When so many persons would have lost their jobs and livelihood and their source of income, you are destroying stalls. That is bread out of the mouths of Guyanese people. That's what it is. Sad situation. We're going to unpack this also later on the show. Later down tonight at 8 p.m. in the ring. And I hope you'll join us then. Remember, as I always say to you, let's continue to work together for national development. Do enjoy the rest of the evening. Thanks to those persons who joined us. Remember to continue to share and like. Let your friends and family know that we're on air every afternoon, every weekday at 5. Please do join us later on this evening for In the Ring. We'll be trying a few punches in the ring with Sherrod Duncan. Of course, unpacking Bar Jagdio's foolishness today. Do enjoy the rest of the evening. My name is Randolph Critchell.